Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, My 20 brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight, it's Game 2 of this 4-game series. The Astros meet the Colorado Rockies. Good evening, everybody. The roof is rolled back tonight. First time we've seen the sky in months in this ballpark. Bill Brown and Jim Deshaies. The Astros won at 9-6 last night with a whole lot of hitting in that one, JD.
Yeah, a very long game, but the Astros ended up winning a hard-fought game over the Rockies. And tonight it's Brett Myers going to the mound for Houston. Back on August 22nd, he got knocked around by the Rockies. It's the first time he's ever gotten beaten by the Rockies. Since then, he has pitched outstanding baseball. 4 starts since that one. He's allowed exactly 1 earned run in each of those 4 starts. So really good work from Myers lately. He'll try that here tonight against the Rockies and their young left-hander, Drew Pomeranz.
Pomeranz, the southpaw from the University of Mississippi, comes up next for the Astros with wide open roof. And we'll see the sky in just a moment.
Game time, but it's going to drop as the evening wears on. Low humidity. And so Brett Myers will be the man of the hour. He's on the mound. Bill Brown and Jim Deshaies are up in the booth. Let's go to them.
Thank you, Greg. And let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Rockies. Eric Young, Dexter Fowler, Jordan Pacheco, Seth Smith, Ty Wigginton, Kevin Kuzminoff, Willeen Rosario, Tommy Field, Drew Pomeranz.
Brett Myers doing a really nice job rehabbing his recent starts. He's been very, very good, including Sunday against the Cubs. 7 2/3, 7 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned. Walked 1, struck out 5, pitching in a pretty steady rain most of that afternoon. Myers continues his good work here in the second half of the season. He's 7-1 lifetime against the Rockies. His only loss to them coming in his only start against them this year. That was August 22nd. back in Denver. Allowed 7 earnings in 5 innings.
Eric Young Jr. had 3 hits last night to tie his major league high. He takes strike 1. Starting the night at 251 with no homers. 10 runs batted in for Young. That was his 4th career 3-hit game. Chris Johnson's in tied at 3rd.
You're playing outdoor baseball. How about that?
It is a nice evening. It's been a little bit cooler the last few days. 1 ball, 1 strike. Do we know what game time temperature is? Greg probably knows.
I think Greg said 89.
I checked it just about 20 minutes ago, and that's what it was. Only 30% humidity, so it's very comfortable.
Pitch is up, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Last night the Rockies banged out 13 hits, but they lost 9-6. Rockies have lost 8 in a row now. They just went 0-7 on a homestand for the first time in their history. Bouncer back off Myers' glove, and that deflects it back to where it's an infield hit. Barmes unable to make a play on it, and Young reaches with the infield bouncer.
No way you're going to get Young after a deflection unless the ball is really smoked and then deflected right to an infielder. Which calls to mind another Dan Quisenberry quote. We threw one out last night. Quisenberry once said, "We either have to start catching the ball better or deflect it to guys who can."
Hit number 1 of the night already, and now Fowler. Fowler's been leading in extra base hits since the All-Star break in the National League. There's ball 1 to him. He has 5 homers, 33 doubles, 15 triples for the season, a .366 on base average. And after that trip to AAA Colorado Springs, he has really apparently learned something. He smacks this one toward the gap. Maybe another extra base hit for Fowler. That will go to the base of the wall, and that'll score Young easily to make it 1-0. An RBI double for Fowler and a 1-0 Rocky lead.
Yeah, well, whoever got with him down there at AAA deserves a raise. He's been lighting it up since returning to the big leagues. The leg kick, I know there was an issue with his lower body. He wasn't using his lower body in his swing. Now he is, and he's getting a lot of extra base hits. A lot of speed at the top of the order. It's a Rocky lineup that's a little bit out of sync due to injury. With Cargo and Helton and Tulowitzki all not in the lineup.
Jordan Pacheco thereby bats 3rd. There's strike 1 to Pacheco. .268 with 2 homers, 9 runs batted in. He hit 3rd last night, and he was hitless in the game, 0 for 3 with a walk. Pacheco could catch in addition to playing infield spots. Bouncer to 3rd, a 2-hopper. Chris Johnson checks the runner Fowler and takes care of out number 1 for Myers. Well, you mentioned the 7-1 record for Myers against this club.
Yeah,
that's outstanding.
Yeah, he's owned the Rockies up until that last start. And defensively, it's Martinez, Shuck, and now Matt Downs getting his 2nd start of the year out in right field. He's played out there a little bit as a minor leaguer. Johnson, Barmes, it's the Sanchez in there for Altuve. He was a late scratch. Excuse me, Carlos Lee at first base. Quintero behind the plate.
Batter is Seth Smith, the cleanup man, who has excellent career numbers against Houston pitching. .341 is his lifetime average against the Astros, including 1 homer and 6 runs batted in.
So he and Ty Wigginton represent the best power threats in the middle of the order for the Rockies, with those other gentlemen out of action.
That's ball 1, and there are stories that Helton may not play again this year. Tulowitzki played last night, but his hip has been bothering him. So Smith gets a lot of playing time with 15 homers, 58 runs batted in, a .282 average. And Cargo might be finished for the year as well. Wrist problem. 1 ball, 1 strike. That's a substantial part of the Rockies' attack. A good attack, 3rd in the league in runs scored.
The dead last in the league in runs scored on the road. It's a schizophrenic attack is normally the case with the Colorado Rockies.
Helton watching there.
Lately it's an attack that hasn't been doing much at all. Although last night they did swing the bats well. They scored 6 runs, but prior to that, on a 7-game homestand, they lost each and every one of those 7 games and averaged less than 3 runs per game. So it's been a bit of a A bad stretch here for Jim Trace's Colorado Rockies, and it's been a bad year all the way around for a team that had high expectations coming in.
It's 2-2. Smith 2 for 4 with a walk in last night's game. Seth went to the University of Mississippi, where he was Eli Manning's backup quarterback. He's 28 years old. Tonight's starting pitcher Pomerantz, also from that institution. Swing and a miss. Smith is out number 2. Myers moves along to face Ty Wigginton next.
And so much of what Myers does is predicated by the effectiveness of his curveball, and it's been a real big pitch for him through this good stretch here lately. And you get Smith. There's a breakdown on the Rockies' home and road. Typically they're very good at home, but this year finishing 5 games below 500 in their own ballpark, still averaging close to 2 runs more per game at home than on the road.
Wigginton is 12 for 25 off Myers. He looks at that pitch, and it's ball 1. Wiggy, a .243 hitter with 15 homers, has driven in 46. Former Astro 0 for 4 in last night's game. It's 2-0. Rockies are 32 and 43 on the road this season. They have finished at home. Wigginton 12 for 25, including 1 homer off Myers. Two balls and a strike. Tony Randazzo is the home plate umpire tonight. This is game 2 of a 4-game series. Dan Bellino, Larry Vanover, Brian Gorman round out the crew. Jay Happ and Jason Hamill start tomorrow night. Cracked bat to Hopper. Chris Johnson makes the throw to Carlos Lee, who tags Wigginton. It's 1 run, 2 hits, 1 left for the Rockies. They draw first blood. Astros up in a moment. Schuck gets the call in center field. Jason Bourgeois banged up with a wrist problem. Jose Altuve at second base was scratched, and Angel Sanchez is now in that spot in the order. J.D. Martinez in left field, Carlos Lee at first, Matt Downs in right field, Chris Johnson at third, Clint Barmes at shortstop, Humberto Quintero the catcher for Brett Myers.
Drew Pomerantz, big lefty, is 22 years of age. His first season of professional baseball after being picked in the first round last year by Cleveland, 5th pick overall. Did not pitch after signing last year, so he started this year in A-ball with the Indians, and he's going to finish it in the big leagues with the Rockies. He's pitched twice so far for the Rockies, and he's had very good results.
J.B. Schuck, the leadoff man, getting the call against the lefty Pomerantz. Pomerantz delivers, strike 1. Schuck, a .266 hitter, .246 rather, has no homers. He's driven in 2. Made a good catch in right field in the late stages of last night's game. and punches this one over shortstop, and that is a drop by Tommy Field. Got his glove on it on the backhand side, couldn't hold it, and Shuck sent him out into left field. He should get a single for that.
An infield hit. They got it started for the Rockies. Shuck now hits this little flare out in the shallow left, and Field shows tremendous range to get back there in position to make a play, but just could not finish the play.
It is ruled a single for Shuck. Angel Sanchez, the batter. JD mentioned he was inserted in the lineup. Altuve was taken out of it. Altuve was hit on the left elbow by a pitch last night. That's the reason he is not starting. 237, 1 homer, 25 runs batted in. So perhaps that stiffened up on him after batting practice, but he was in the original lineup.
Pomerantz, not a real hard thrower. You see him at 89 right now with a fastball. He's got a curveball and a changeup to complement it. He scores very high in terms of his mound presence, his ability to locate, and his pitchability, his pitching acumen. Scouts really like this kid. And, I mean, you don't have all those attributes and get to the big leagues in your first professional season. I mean, you don't get there unless you have those attributes, unless you're throwing 102 miles an hour.
He pitched for 3 years at Mississippi. As a junior, he was 9-2 with a 2.24 ERA there. And there's a throw to first. Last time out Saturday against the Giants, he got a no decision. He pitched well, allowing 4 hits and 2 runs in 5 1/3 innings. He had been at Double-A when he was traded in the Ubaldo Jimenez deal, with last night's starter Alex White also accompanying him in the deal, but he had to wait a while to be added to this organization.
Yeah, because you have to wait a year before you can trade draft picks. So they did the trade, but they didn't move the body.
Yeah.
And here are the Rockies defensively. Great speed in the outfield with Young, Fowler, and Smith. Kuzmanov, the youngsters field, the Pacheco in the middle, Wiggy at first, Rosario behind the dish. He had a home run last night. So apparently it was Pomerantz so they did the deal, and so he went to the Indians spring training facility in Arizona and just hung out down there until however many days had to pass before they could actually transfer him to the Rockies. So he was down there throwing simulated games, but they wouldn't let the hitter swing the bat off of him because they didn't want him to get hurt. They didn't want anybody to hit a comebacker, and ruin the deal. So he was at the Indians facility, but kind of working under the Rockies program in terms of what he was doing throwing wise.
Some kind of a simulated game if you can't swing the bat. Sounds like a rather one-sided game.
I would have found success in that program. I like that. I like that notion.
Well, you just hope you can draw those walks. Yeah. It all comes back to bases on balls, JD.
Yeah.
When they talk about that.
On base percentage, Moneyball. They find out who's going to be a good walker down there facing Pomerantz.
Not too many broken bats in that situation there for Pomerantz. Ground ball and fair. Past the diving Kuzmanov into the left field corner. Shuck comes to third. Dave Clark's going to send him home. Rockies might have a shot. Kuzmanov does not make a throw. And it's a 1-1 game as Sanchez winds up at second with an RBI double. Looked like a bold send for Dave Clark with nobody out, but it certainly worked.
Yeah, it sure was. And it's infield hit followed by a double to tie the game. Exactly what happened in the top half of the first. This double goes down the third base line. I think if Young hits the lead cutoff man here, they're going to have a real legitimate shot at Shuck, but he overthrows him. Kuzmanov handles it on the short hop and never gets a throw off. You see Field, the shortstop, drifts over to be the lead relay guy, but the throw from Young sails over his head.
Shuck was really legging it. Now Sanchez at second after his 10th double of the year, his 26th RBI, ties the game, and it's JD Martinez. Strike one to Martinez. 275 is his average, including 6 homers. He's driven in 36. Martinez was 0 for 4 last night. He did score a run after being hit by a pitch. And the catcher Rosario moves out to stop that one. It's a 1-ball-1-strike count.
And then to make this young guy's season even more interesting, Pomeranz, shortly after acquired by the Rockies, he had an emergency appendectomy that shut him down for a while.
It's quite a summer he's gone through. A lot of folks surprised that the Tribe would trade 2 first-round picks in White and Pomeranz to get Ubaldo Jimenez. And just reading an article today, JD, apparently there were those in Cleveland who were surprised, not necessarily that they would give up these guys, but that they didn't trade for a hitter, because offense was more their problem than pitching when they made the deal. Line into center field. Sanchez to third. Dave Clark will bring him there and stop him on a sharp single. 3 straight hits greeting Pomeranz here. Just cracked that one right back up over the road.
Yeah, the first one by JB, just a little flare, not well struck, but the last 2 certainly hit hard. This one in particular, that's a Charlie Brown right there. Chuck and duck. Yeah, I don't really know enough about the situation in Cleveland to speak to the, to that deal from their point of view, other than the fact that Jimenez is healthy and pitches like he did last year, and he hasn't done it this year, but they've got him under contract at a very reasonable rate.
Yes, they do. 277 for El Caballo. Carlos Lee has 18 homers. He's driven in 90 now. That's his usual RBI neighborhood. Here's ball 1. He had a big one last night. He's driven in 15 in September with 5 homers, a .284 batting average. He had 4 runs batted in last night with a 3-run double and a sac fly. Carlos gets one into left center field. That'll give the Astros the lead. And it goes by Fowler and all the way to the wall. Not only does Sanchez score, but Martinez is coming around third. And the throw to the plate, not in time to get him. 2 more runs batted in for El Caballo, giving him 92. 38 doubles. He's in the top 3 in the National League.
Well, you could argue Carlos in a salary drive, but he's already under contract. He hit one that rolled up to the top of Talus Hill to clear the bases in a bases loaded situation. And last night's ball game, and the Astros, after being handcuffed the final day of the road trip by Bronson Arroyo, a day where they just had a lot of poor at-bats, bounced back nicely here first 2 games of the series with the Rockies.
Bob Apodaca out to talk it over with Drew Pomeranz. He's been laced for 4 straight hits. Jason Hamill has been in the bullpen. He'll come out of the pen to start tomorrow night against Jay Happ. Sunday afternoon, it's Kevin Millwood and Lucas Harrell. The Rockies head for San Francisco, and the Astros stay here for the final 3 games with St. Louis. Matt Downs now has the club record for pinch hit runs batted in a season by a right-handed batter. Overall, 282, 9 homers. He's driven in 37. Came off the bench last night, ripped a 3-run double to grab that top spot for right-handed hitters. Orlando Merced has 2 more. He was a left-handed batter. And that was in 2001 when Merced drove in 2 more runs as a pinch hitter than Downs has this year. So 15 pinch runs batted in for Matt, and that leads the majors this season. It's led to more starts. It's a 1-ball-1-strike count and a couple of starts, including this one in right field for Matt. He had not started as a major leaguer in right field until his first start a few days ago at that position. He is 5 for 8 against the Rockies. 1 homer, 6 runs batted in. We almost hit him on the back foot. It's a 2-ball-1-strike count.
Downs hitting .333 against Southpaws this year, 14 out of 42 with a couple of home runs.
Beautiful sky out there.
We might have to schedule some exhibition games in October to take advantage of the weather.
It is very pleasant.
Harken back to the old days when teams used to go on barnstorming tours. Maybe we get Babe Ruth to come in and play.
That's in the air to left center field. Fowler heading back for this one. That's going to fly. And Matt Downs has hit it off the wall. He gets another RBI to make it 4-1 with Carlos Lee scoring a double for Downs. His 18th double, his 38th run batted in. 5 straight Houston hits, 3 of them doubles.
The young lefty getting absolutely ambushed here. And given his collegiate record and what he had done so far in the minor leagues, he's had very few outings like this in his life, I'm sure. See how high this one hits on the wall. Yeah, Fowler gave up on that a little early. He turned around to play the carom. He could have gotten back there and made a play on that ball. High fly ball like that hit off the base of the fence.
Chris Johnson comes up. 18 doubles for Downs. The Astros lead the National League in 2 base hits. Johnson with 7 homers, 40 runs batted in, has a .253 batting average. Yeah, that hit pretty low on the wall.
In front of the wall.
Did it really?
Yeah, I think it did. I think it bounced right in front of the wall.
Ball 1 to CJ.
Fowler was probably nearby a conversation with Eric Young when he said, hey, with that short wall in left field, sometimes it's better to turn around and get ready to play the carom. So Fowler's walked right in the center.
Line shot to left, another hit. And here's Downs coming to the plate. Young's throw is offline, and it's an RBI single for Johnson, his 41st run batted in. And the Astros get run number 5 to the plate.
Wow.
6 straight hits to
My
open the
goodness,
game.
what an ambush.
How appropriate this is, because on this date in 1986, JD struck out the first 8 men to face him. Now we're seeing the opposite.
It's just unbelievable the way they're abusing this young kid.
5 runs home. Jim Miller's warming up. And it's Clint Barmes, the former Rocky, batting. Downs home to score. Johnson takes his lead at first. That's strike 1 to Barmes. 249 for Clint, 11 homers. He's driven in 38. He said he's back to using his old bat now, but he has some Craig Biggio bats, and he will mix them in from time to time, depending upon the type of pitcher he's facing. He has 4. Fly ball to center field. Fowler waiting. And the first out is turned in. And the 7th batter in the inning. So this is a test for the young lefty Pomeranz. Humberto Quintero. 2 homers, 25 runs batted in, a .249 average. It's his first start in this series. It was J.R. Toll starting the opener last night. There's ball 1. Yeah, happy anniversary, JD.
Hey, thanks, Brian.
25 years ago.
25.
On this date. Isn't
Hard
that
to believe.
crazy?
Hard to believe.
You struck out the first 8 Dodgers.
Yeah, they were a tired, disinterested bunch. But I'll take it.
1 ball, 1 strike. Well, with all the baseball history from all these years, and 25 years since you've done that, nobody's done it.
Yeah. I was telling Brian McTaggart in batting practice, if somebody does do it or breaks it, I want it to be like a obscure 4th guy in the rotation guy. Now, it doesn't need to be Halladay or Cliff Lee or any of these guys. The unit made a run at it a few years ago. I think he got the first 6, and I say, no, not the unit. Don't. He's got enough no hitters and all that. I want somebody. Who? That guy? Somebody like me who can relish it every year.
Okay.
My one, like that. What's the basketball song? One shining moment.
Yeah.
There you go. Quintero
swings at it and misses. Out number 2. We go to Greg Lucas.
funny what you were talking about, but this Dayton Astros history brought to you by the MD Anderson Cancer Center, making cancer history. What we can do even better than talk. It was on 1986 on this date when JD did set the modern record by striking out the first 8 Dodgers, and this is part of it.
Look at the hairstyles.
Well, just the hair.
Yeah. Joe Enos.
Benny. Aurelio Lopez is there.
Both those guys have passed away.
Yes.
It's amazing.
25 years. Now Brett Myers bats. Looking at ball 1, he has 9 hits and 59 at bats for a 153 average. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. We were away watching that video and missed a pitch. Shark is on deck. Bouncer, and it's just foul. What are your particular memories of that 8 strikeout beginning to the game? Anything stand out?
Well, the one at bat that stands out was Pedro Guerrero, because it was a lengthy at bat. It was 15 pitches or something like that, and kept fouling back fastballs. And finally, we threw him a changeup, and he took it. It was borderline pitch, but I got the call.
Do you know where the shoes are that you wore for that?
I think they're in Cooperstown.
Well, they're up here now. The authenticators have them.
Oh, nice.
The authenticators.
They're in the building.
Oh, wow.
A 5-run first. The first 6 Astros get hits, and they lead it 5-1 after 1.
Five to 1, and I'm here because we want to ring the Russell bells. That means it's AT&T trivia time, and our question today, you know, one of the big stories this year, Andre Ethier is a 30-30 man, but only one member of that 30-30 club made it while playing for 2 teams in different leagues in the same season. Who was it?
Oh, 2 teams, same season.
Well, Carlos Beltran would be a candidate, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
More than a candidate.
Oh, all right.
He's the guy.
Carlos Beltran did it with the Astros in Kansas City, but he's the only guy that's ever done it with 2 teams. And there you see the official word, the AT&T trivia answer, highly and early success for the guys upstairs.
Yeah, we jumped all over that one.
It's JD's anniversary night. We had to come up with something, and he did. There's strike 1 for Kuzminoff. Kevin Kuzminoff, 243, 1 homer, 9 runs batted in. Hit his first homer last night as a Padre. He also had 2 other hits, and he drove in a couple of runs. Looks at a strike there from Myers, who has the 0-2 count now with Rosario and Field due up next. Braves got 3 in the first. They lead at Washington 3-1 after 3.5. Out toward right field, Sanchez going for it and catching it on the run. 1 out.
Sanchez able to make the play that Field could not in the bottom half of the first. Started the Astros rally. Carlos Beltran in 2004 hit 38 home runs. Stole 42 bases.
Good play by Sanchez going back in right. Willeen Rosario's next. Looking at strike one. The catcher at 227 with 3 homers, has 7 runs batted in. As JD mentioned, he too went deep last night. He also had a double in a 2-for-4 night. Rosario up from Double-A Tulsa. This fly ball carries out to center field. J.B. Shuck backing. 2 outs.
Now, early in the year when the roof is peeled back, the ball really carries well here. But there's usually a little bit of a breeze pushing it out. Right now the flag's just kind of laying limp. Not a whole lot going on out there.
No. Steven Strasburg started against the Braves for Washington tonight. Tim Hudson's on the mound for Atlanta. Strasburg has allowed 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned through 4 innings. There's strike one to Tommy Field. Field a 207 hitter. Field got into the game last night late. He lines this one over shortstop Barmes into left field for a 2-out single. That's hit number 3 for the Rockies. He went to Texas State. He's aboard for Pomeranz, the Mississippi man. Pomeranz 0 for 2 with 1 sacrifice in his first 2 major league starts. It's a big game for Atlanta in Washington tonight. That's a smash into left field. Pomeranz picks up his first major league hit.
Well, he can take that out of this one. If he doesn't get his outing on the mound turned around, at least he'll have a souvenir of his first major league knock. Doesn't seem to be overly excited about it, and can understand why, the way that bottom half of the first went for him.
Looks like Aaron Cook wound up with it on the Rockies bench.
So as Pomeranz begins his Rocky career, it looks like Aaron Cook's will come to an end. A veteran who spent his entire professional career in the Rockies organization has a big option for next year that there's no way the Rockies are going to exercise.
Kerr strike one to Young.
So in all likelihood he'll be moving on.
Young got the infield hit off the glove of Myers. Baltimore and Detroit are tied 3-3. That's a strike. And it's 0-2. Miguel Cabrera hit his 27th home run for the Tigers. 3-3 bottom of the 5th inning. Walt Jocketty signed a contract extension to stay as the Reds general manager.
Yeah, 3-year extension for Jocketty.
Reds are being shut out at Pittsburgh 3-0 after 4 tonight. They just scored, make it 3-1 in the top of the 5th. Garrett Jones hit his 16th homer earlier for the Buccos. That's a foul ball, and Young stays alive. No balls, 2 strikes. We'd like to send our best out to David Brandt tonight from League City, the EMS there, and also he's with the League City Volunteer Fire Department. He was critically injured in a motorcycle accident a few days ago in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, in the hospital at Memorial Hermann, recovering tonight. Foul ball keeps the count at 0-2. Tony Randazzo is working the plate tonight.
Young stays alive, barely.
Jason Bourgeois has had a little wrist problem, and that's why he's not in the starting lineup. He tweaked that wrist a few days ago, and he'll take batting practice tomorrow. He has not been taking BP the last few days. That's a ball to Young, and it's a 1-ball 2-strike count. So there's Bourge on the bench.
Myers taking a shot with a high fastball after the breaking balls. Oh, not a bad looking pitch. Pitch tracks liked it enough.
Likes that one as well. It's strike 3 call. Young caught looking to end the 2nd for Colorado with no runs, 2 hits, 2 men stranded. The Astros lead it early, 5-1. The shoot off Drew Pomeranz.
And Drew just got absolutely ambushed there. A little soft flare to get it started by Shuck, and then a series of really well hit balls from Sanchez, Martinez, Lee Downs, and Chris Johnson. And providing a nice comfortable lead here for Brett Myers in the early going, and he has not needed a lot of help lately. He's been really throwing the ball well.
So Shuck leads it off again in the second after the Astros batted around in the first. Shuck getting the call against the lefty with Bourgeois on the bench with that wrist injury. Shuck has been able to hang in well against left-handed pitching. He's now 5 for 9 against southpaws. Strike one to JB. This is his 12th career start. He was an all-star in the Pacific Coast League, hitting .297 there. Moves back from that one, 1-1. He had an on-base average at Oklahoma City of almost 400, 398 in 108 games there for the Ohio Stater. Pomeranz throws a strike. That makes it 1-2. Ryan Dempster and the Cubs are at St. Louis facing Chris Carpenter and the Cardinals. Carpenter did not allow the Cubs to score in the top of the first. Bouncer backhanded at third. Kuzminov with the throw to Wigginton. 1 out. Good crisp play by Kuzminov. You know the Cubs would love to knock off the Cardinals.
Cub fans sure would.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Cub players care a whole lot at this stage.
Sharp running hard up the line. They just get him. 1 out, and it's Sanchez taking ball one. Atlanta has a 2-game lead over St. Louis in the National League wild card race. In the American League, Boston has a 2-game lead over Tampa Bay. 3 games over the Angels. Did you happen to read that story about the Red Sox? And apparently this is not going to happen, but the story was that the Red Sox were shopping to make a deal for a starting pitcher. They were targeting Chris Capuano of the Mets.
I did see that.
Very interesting.
How desperate they are. Yeah, there's get him for 1 start possibly.
It could have been the last start of the season. I believe they were looking though for the Sunday game against the Yankees, so it would have been 3 games remaining. And that was what they were targeting.
Well, the ultimate mercenary in a trade.
Yeah. Wouldn't you feel weird if you were
absolutely
traded under those circumstances?
Absolutely.
You just joined the club. You've got one game to help them make it, or if you fail, they don't make the playoffs. Maybe
that's like a plot for a movie.
It really is. Sanchez takes the 1-out walk. That's the first walk for Pomeranz. Evidently, the deal fizzled.
All the possible twists and turns you could have with that.
J.D. Martinez whistled a line drive into center field in the first inning and came around to score on the Carlos Lee double. The Cardinals bullpen did a meltdown last night. Could have been a very damaging loss for them. Braves had the night off last night. That's out towards center field. Fowler racing back, still going back. That ball is over there on the hill, on the right side of Towles Hill. And the Astros will get another run to make it 6-1 on the RBI double for Martinez, scoring Sanchez. 13th double for J.D. Martinez. This is 34th run batted in.
Halfway to a cycle is J.D. Martinez. Single, now an RBI double. Action heats up in the Rocky bullpen. I don't think Jim Tracy's going to let his young lefty stay out there and take much more abuse. A knuckle curveball. It didn't do a whole lot.
It's Jim Miller again. Carlos Lee had the 2-run double in the first inning. Strike one to Carlos. Matt Downs on deck. It's Texas 2, Seattle nothing. They played 2 at Texas. Adrian Beltre hit his 29th home run. There could be 2 pitchers, one in each league, winning the pitching triple crown this year. That is very, very unusual.
When's the last time one did it?
Boy, can't remember. Seems like it happened 5-6 years ago. We'll have to check on that.
Wins, strikeouts, and earned run average.
Yes.
Verlander in the American League, Kershaw in the National League.
I don't want to comment on that, because that, I know I was mulling that over as a possible future trivia question, so I'm not going to.
Okay. Popped up, and Wigginton comes over. That's out number 2. Hey, I've got a bonus trivia question for you guys.
No.
Actually, I'm looking at my list, and I think I never did it, so if you want to mull it over, go ahead.
All right, we can do some mulling. Meanwhile, it's Matt Downs. He got the RBI double in the first inning to left center field. All right, they have in the Astros media guide, it's broken down as to the all-time club leader at each position on the field for home runs in one season. So there's one person who leads in home runs at 2 different positions for one season.
I'm going to go with Berkman.
I would say that's been my guess.
That's not correct.
Okay, then Biggio. No, he wouldn't have done home runs.
Strike to Downs.
So this could be like left and center field?
That's it.
Okay.
It's actually, to give you a clue.
Hidalgo.
You got it. It's right in center field.
People forget he did play center field.
Well, he hit 44 in 2000. First year in this ballpark, and that's the best home run total by an Astros center fielder. And he hit 28 in right field in 03. Foul away.
When you look at the Astros single season home run leaders, the top 15 seasons, it's almost all Bagwell and Berkman, but you see Hidalgo, Ensberg, Jimmy Wynn shows up on that list.
Mm-hmm. Seven hits for the Astros, 4 for the Rockies in this 6-1 ball game. Downs lets that one go, and it's a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Since the All-Star break, the Astros have played winning baseball at home, 15-13. They've won 10 of their last 15 home games. They've now clinched the top pick in the draft next year. Downs strikes out. Rosario with the throw to first. And in the second inning, the Astros tack on a run on one hit and leave a man. They lead it 6-1 after 2. But then he got 5 runs of support in the first inning and 1 more in the second. And Dexter Fowler looks at ball 1, leading off the third. Fowler got that first run home with a double. Esmil Rogers is warming up. He has been in the rotation, but is not scheduled to start as a roller to first base. Lee Tossin to Myers, 1 out. Greg?
This November, 6 Major League umpires will teach at the MLB Umpire Camp. That's going to be in Compton, California, near L.A. The camp helps umpires at all levels of play and serves as a prep course for those wanting a major or minor league umpiring career. Find out more at www.mlbumpirecamps.com. You may have a career as long as Mr. Gorman someday.
Barry Vanover has been around for a while. He's on this crew. You saw him there. Jordan Pacheco taking. Pacheco grounded out earlier. There's ball 1 to him.
Brian Gorman's dad, Tom, a long time National League umpire.
That's true. I believe Tom also pitched in the major leagues. 1 ball, 1 strike. Milwaukee Brewers' magic number is 2 to clinch the NL Central. If they win and St. Louis loses, the Brewers have clinched. Popped up. Carlos Lee over into foul ground. And can't get there. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
So you're talking about that pitching triple crown in each league. You know, that's only happened 3 times before.
No.
In the history of this game. Christy Mathewson and the great Rube Waddell in 1905. Hippo Vaughn and Walter Johnson in 1918. And then Walter Johnson again in the immortal Dazzy Vance in 1924.
Ooh, wow. Grounded at third.
Oh, Duckner.
Under the legs of Chris Johnson for an error. Pacheco reaching on Johnson's 15th error.
Some errors that you can live with, and others you're out there saying, really? I missed that ball?
Yeah.
Can I hide? Is there a hole I can hide in?
Brought up the glove a little bit. And often what it comes down to is you tell yourself, oh, I should have charged that ball. Seth Smith struck out earlier. Of course, he had plenty of time to stand there and play it the way he was doing. It's ball 1. Well, it's going to count as far as that pitching Triple Crown if the pitcher ties and wins for the top spot, and that's what Kershaw may do. He's tied right now. Verlander leads the American League in wins. 2 balls, no strikes. They both have remarkably similar ERAs and strikeout numbers for the season. It's quite an accomplishment. Half throw.
Slight moment of panic there from Pacheco before scrambling back. And I said, that's right. They told me to be careful on base with Quintero. I forgot all about that. Now, the Verlander, he seems to be a slam dunk for the Cy Young Award, but Kershaw, there's no guarantee, despite those great numbers, that he's going to win that award.
No, there is not. He has heavy competition. And Kennedy's got to be in there. Bouncer foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Who else do you like?
Oh, Halladay and Lee.
Yeah.
I guess that would be the group.
He may have hit the bat with his hand on that throw. Yeah. It's like the hand is bothering him. Now it's ball 3, 3-2, and we also could have a Triple Crown hitter in the National League. Matt Kemp. Kemp is 4 points behind the batting leader, Ryan Braun, 330 to 326. Jose Reyes is only 1 point behind at 329. Okay, so he may have hit the elbow there of the hitter. That's what it did. Seth Smith. Runner going, swinging a foul ball. Kemp leads the league now and runs batted in. He has a lead of 5 over Ryan Howard with 118, and he's 1 home run behind the leader, Albert Pujols, 37 to 36. Wouldn't that be amazing if they have 2 Triple Crown winners, a pitcher and a hitter on one team?
Yeah, and a team that's pretty much out of the race all summer long.
True.
11.5 games back are the Dodgers. They've actually been playing good baseball here in the last 3 weeks or so. It's been a pretty rough summer in LA.
There goes, and it's foul again.
Above 500 now at 78 and 77.
Phillies and Mets have been postponed, as have Boston and the Yankees.
Split doubleheader for Phillies and the Mets tomorrow. Tampa Bay, they're on the wrong end of a 5-0 decision now against the Jays.
They're going, and here's the throw. The pitch is ball 4. Good throw, but it was ball 4. So 2 men on, 1 out now for Wigginton.
This is how you lose a game when you have a big lead like this a lot of times. An error, a walk kind of sets up a potential big inning. Again, the Rockies do not have a lot of firepower in their lineup tonight. Wigginton certainly with the ability to hit the ball out of the ballpark. He's done it 15 times this year, and he's got very good numbers against Brett Myers. So this could be a game-changing at-bat right here.
Strike to Wigginton. He grounded out to third earlier. Braves got another 3-run inning. It's the 5th, and it's 6-1 Atlanta over Washington. Strasburg out of the game after 4 innings. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tim Hudson has gone 4, giving up 1 run, and the Braves have not had very many starts of 7 innings or more. The last few weeks, their bullpen has really worked hard. Snap throw to second, and he goes diving back in. Pacheco. 2 balls and a strike.
Pacheco's getting kind of giddy out there. What's he doing?
Don't know. He may want to test his limits against Q. He's new to the league. Maybe he just needs to find out right now, what can I do against this guy? How big lead can I take? How many liberties can I get by with? Curveball makes it a 3-ball, 1 strike count. This is the first time in Astros history they've started a game with 6 consecutive hits on the anniversary of the JD strikeout game. We had the feeling something momentous.
It's just a streaky day.
Yeah, it's that day.
About the 23rd of September lends itself to odd streaks.
3 balls, 2 strikes on the first day of fall. Astros broke out offensively with 6 consecutive hits for a club record to start a game. Runner takes off for third. It's hit in the air to right field. Man Downs. Watching Pacheco. He's just been all over the base pass. 2 outs.
Yeah, he's a little gassed right now. He needs a 20-second timeout.
He really does. Getting his share of sprint work in there. Kevin Kuzminoff popped to the second baseman Sanchez in shallow right field in the second inning. Baltimore 3, Detroit 3. They've played 6 in Detroit, where the Tigers have won 90 games this year. 90 overall, not in Detroit. Rick Porcello is their starter. Tigers getting everything set up for the playoffs. Meanwhile, Baltimore has the opposite record of Detroit. Baltimore is 66 and 90. Detroit club could bear watching come playoff time with Verlander. And who pitches second in the order?
Fister guy's been pretty good for them.
You know, he has.
They got from Seattle.
It's a very good suggestion. And a trade that's not been getting a lot of attention either. 4 balls, 2 strikes. Could prove to be a World Series maker of a trade for that club. Myers gets strike 3 called on Kuzminoff, and it's no runs, no hits, 1 error, 2 men left for the Rockies in the 3rd inning. The Astros lead it over Colorado 6-1 after 2.5. Somebody coming in. Miller.
Tonight at Astros.com. If you joined us late tonight, this is what you missed in the 1st inning. A record performance. Shuck, Sanchez. Sanchez's hit drives in Shuck. Then Martinez. He singles, putting runners at 1st and 3rd. Lee drives in 2 with another double. Then Downs with a double, drives in another. And then Johnson wraps up the scoring. And finally, that is the score. That was 6 hits in a row for the Astros. That is a new record. The Astros lead it 6-1, and now with a new pitcher, here's Browning.
Thank you very much, sir. And we have Esmil Rogers warming up. So he has come out of this bullpen. He had been in the starting rotation. And Jim Miller had been warming up, but it's Esmil Rogers taking over on the mound now. He's 6-6 with a 6.64 ERA.
Yeah, well, he's kind of anxious to see Pomeranz pitch tonight. I've heard a lot of very good things about him, but he was never able to get settled in because of the way the Astros jumped on him. And that's a good thing from an Astros point of view. I'm sure better days lie ahead for Drew Pomeranz at the age of 22, already in the big league. So Rogers now gets a turn. 6-6 despite a very high ERA.
He had been taken out of the rotation in recent days and now gets his chance to move in relief. Chris Johnson, the first man he's facing. Pomeranz in 2 innings, allowing 7 hits, 6 runs, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. Johnson drove in one of those runs in the 5-run first with an RBI single to left field. CJ takes a look at that one, and it's ball 1. Esmil Rogers turned 26 in mid-August. He's from the Dominican Republic. Pitched last year against the Astros, losing a game. And throws that one as a ball to make it a 2-0 count. Rogers was signed as an infielder in 2003. Two and 3 last year with an ERA over 6. Fly ball goes to right center field. Fowler calling. 1 out.
Nice to have that plan B if it doesn't pan out for you as a position player. If you have such a good arm that can throw you on the mound, and Rogers does indeed have that. You see a couple of real crisp fastballs from him here in that sequence to CJ. He's averaging about 94 miles an hour this year with his heater. And he also throws a slider, curve, and a straight change.
His last outing did not go well. It was 5 days ago at home against the Giants. He lost that game. That was a 12-5 Giant win. He gave up 9 hits and 7 runs in 3 2/3 innings. Strike to Clint Barmes. Clint hit a fly ball to center earlier, but 2 starts ago Rogers pitched well at Milwaukee. Got a no decision, giving up 1 run in 6 innings against a hard-hitting Brewer lineup.
Good stuff. Just he's got command problems. 78 2/3 innings. He's allowed 13 home runs, so that speaks to a number of mistakes over the plate. And he's also walked 43. That's just too many, especially if you're going to give up the home runs. Talked about that in the Arroyo game the other day. You can give up home runs and still be effective if you're not giving up a lot of walks and hits.
1 and 2. You think of some of the pitchers who allowed the most home runs and still were great pitchers. And they certainly did exactly that. They limited the walks. Guys like Catfish Hunter, Robin Roberts.
Bert Blyleven.
Bert Blyleven's another. You're right.
Bert holds the record for the most allowed in a season with 50. He did that towards the tail end of his career.
Humberto Quintero's on deck. 6-1 Astros. Final homestand of the year of 7 games. Rolled out slowly to second. And the toss to first from Pacheco gets Barmes 2 outs.
Pacheco almost looked like he had a little bit of a slalom approach to that ball.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? Side to side, shushing his way over to that ground ball.
And the ball hit right off the end of the bat by Barmes. Had some funky spin on it. This way, and then he come back the other way.
He did. He's just trying to put a little interest in things tonight. A lot of movement on the bases and there at second base. Quintero struck out in the first inning as the Astros paraded 9 to the plate. This one, a liner, makes it into right field for a 2-out Quintero single. He hit number 8 for Houston already. Ty's going to have a little fun. You know that.
Both those guys. Yeah, Q gave him a little shove when he rounded first. And I think he's going to give it right back to him.
Brett Myers, the batter. He struck out looking. Speaking of catchers with Q at first, Jason Castro's coming along well in Florida. Here's ball one. Brad Mills telling us that Castro caught 3 innings today in an instructional league game. Had a good workout. He hit some. He threw out a runner. He's going to catch 5 innings tomorrow. Castro's extremely pleased with his progress. There still is a spot he could claim in that Arizona Fall League. If things continue to progress for Castro, he may be catching there. There's kind of an open spot for him if the Astros decide to send him. (3-0) now to Myers.
Well, he needs at bat, so if he comes out of this instructional league healthy, that would be great.
Sure would be. Tommy Field shading up the middle. That's a strike, and it's 3-1. Astros are 17-6 against the Rockies here at Minute Maid Park in the last 23 meetings. Overall, 50-26 here against Colorado. Foul back, and it's 3 balls, 2 strikes. Tomorrow night, again, we're on My 20. And it's a 6:05 start time. We're on the air at 6 o'clock for Jay Happ and Jason Hamill. Lucas Harrell and Kevin Millwood are our starters on FS Houston. 12:30 for Astros Live on Sunday. There we see the matchups. Runner going, it's foul. Bobby Meacham with the play. Giveaways this weekend for the 50th anniversary, which is getting started a little bit early, but you'll be seeing a celebration of that all throughout next season. Just giving everybody a taste of it this weekend with the caps tonight and the t-shirts and the blankets to come on the other 2 days this weekend with that new logo. You know, somebody wrote about that number 50 kind of reminded one columnist online of J.R. Richard.
Sure, yeah, with the rainbow.
Right.
That's what I thought when I saw that yesterday.
That was his number.
There's also Rocky Childress' number. People
that.
probably would remember J.R. a little bit better.
Pretty good chance. Rocky Childress. Fly ball to right. Smith waiting. And in the 3rd inning, it's no runs, a hit and a man left. It is 6-1 Astros. First with a club record 6 consecutive hits to open the game. They added a second inning run. Brett Myers had given up a run in the first. In fact, after he faced two batters, he trailed 1-0. But then all the early run support has allowed him to pitch free and easy. And he now goes to the fourth inning with the lead and trying to win his fourth straight. Myers is over 200 innings pitched for the season. Trying to win number 7 of the year here tonight. Last time out, he beat the Cubs in Chicago on Sunday 3-2, giving up 2 runs. One of them earned in 7 2/3.
You're a starting pitcher. You take all the run support you can get. But a lot of times what leads to a really well-pitched game is exactly what happened here tonight. What could potentially happen. Get a lot early and then just kind of move things along. So as a pitcher, you really stay in rhythm out there. Don't have to endure many long innings in the dugout. Thinking being, I mean, you would never tell your guys to stop having good at-bats, but you got a 5-run lead. You feel like you got to be able to take that to the bank.
Ball one to Rosario, who hit a fly ball to center first time up. Rainouts in New York to both the New York teams, the Yankees and the Mets, postponed tonight. So that'll create a backup.
Wasn't Major League Baseball closing in on some kind of a record for rainouts this year?
I believe so. Last time we saw that, it's been a while back, but yeah, there have been so many. A rough year for rainouts. The Astros.
Ironic, there's no rain here.
There's no rain here, but almost everywhere we've been on the road lately, it's been raining. Pittsburgh, Chicago, Cincinnati, rain quite a bit of the time. Jim Tracy's club will finish on the road at San Francisco. That's a goes foul. We were talking with Greg about Carlos Beltran being a 30-30 club member in 04 with 2 clubs. And Jim Tracy's going to be going out to take on Carlos Beltran and the Giants. Carlos finishing up pretty well.
Yeah, he is. He really is. Jim Tracy, his 3rd season with the Rockies. Also managing Pittsburgh and Los Angeles. Good guy. Played a little bit in the Astros system many years ago.
Oh, that's right. Came up with the Cubs. A left-handed hitting outfielder. Did not have very much big league time. And so many managers fall into that category. They either didn't play very long or didn't play at all some in the majors. Sparky Anderson of Cincinnati played very little in the big leagues.
Earl Weaver, a lot of the great managers.
Tommy Lasorda.
There's a lot of the guys that had marginal ability, but because of that, they really studied and learned the game.
Mm-hmm.
And also, they have a tendency to relate better to the average player than the superstar.
True.
Turned manager.
That's a strikeout. Number 4 for Myers. And there have been superstar players who were not good managers.
Yeah, just could not appreciate the struggles of many other players.
Mm-hmm.
Frank Robinson took a lot of heat, but I think ultimately he turned into a pretty good manager. But that was some of the criticisms he got early in his managerial career, is that he couldn't relate to most guys in his clubhouse. Bob Gibson, as a pitching coach, took similar hits.
Mm-hmm. Ted Williams took some shots as a manager. One ball, 1 strike. Babe Ruth kind of wanted to manage at the end of his career. Wanting to.
Yeah, they're probably afraid the Bambino wouldn't show up for work.
That might have been a concern, yeah. How about Yogi? He had some good years as a manager.
Yeah, he did. I don't know if Yogi was considered a good manager.
Couldn't tell.
Because as Larry Durker pointed out yesterday at our luncheon, it's not necessarily about winning and losing. It's what you do with the talent you're given.
That's right. That's why that vote for manager of the year is extremely difficult. How in the world do you judge that?
Can't. You just, I think the only fair way to do that is just take a guy who maybe last year was really bad and this year they won a lot of games. Mm-hmm. Or who had a lot of injuries to overcome and they still managed to win a lot of games. Because you really don't know a manager's influence on a club unless you're down there in that clubhouse on a routine basis.
Well, one guy who's done really well this year is Kirk Gibson.
Right, that's a great example. So he's probably win.
He probably will. That's number 5. Time now for our Doing More on Defense feature. It's brought to you by the Home Depot. We'll see Ando Sanchez going into shallow right field. And that one was hit by Kevin Kuzman off in the second inning for out number 1.
Now, a late addition to the lineup is Jose Altuve. Could not answer the bell after getting drilled in the arm last night.
But Jose Altuve is going to have a big night tomorrow night, JD.
What's going on?
He's going to get that award for the Astros Minor Leaguer of the Year before the game on the field. And hopefully he'll be able to play as well. No balls, 2 strikes as Will Rogers. This guy can hit, JD. 269.
Why did they change him to a pitcher? Can't hit a curveball.
That's why they changed him. That's 4 straight strikeouts for Myers. 6 in the game. 6-1 Houston.
...2012 season this weekend against the Rockies. This Sunday, the first 10,000 fans receive a 50th anniversary T-shirt, courtesy of Bull Shirts. Visit Astros.com for details about the weekend and for tickets. We are celebrating the 50th year, which is ending this year. We are celebrating the first 50 years of Astros baseball. I got to get that straight because this actually is the 50th year.
That's right.
We are celebrating it. Starting now, but all year, next year.
We're just continuing that celebration.
Yes.
For a long time. But it's going to be good because you'll get to see all those retro uniforms on Friday nights at all the home games next year. J.B. Shock led off the game for the Astros with a single, and then he grounded out. Let's see, we have opening weekend, the 50th anniversary promotional items and pregame ceremonies, flashback Fridays, the throwback jerseys every Friday home game. Alumni will be invited back to throw the first pitch. By the end of the season, you will have a chance to vote for the Astros all-time 25-man roster. And that Legends Weekend is when they will be revealed. So a lot going on, and more than that, of course, but that's just part of the theme for next season. And that Bull Shirts, Greg, were you telling us that that is Matt Bullard's company that makes those Bull Shirts? No, that's not right. Okay. We had some faulty information on it.
However, if Matt did make T-shirts, they would be really nice.
Oh, they would be. Well, he might be making some this year. I don't know what's going on.
Have to find something to do.
2 balls and a strike for Esmil Rogers in relief of Drew Pomeranz. Rockies pitching last in the league. 4.43 ERA. Slightly higher than the Astros, 4.40. 3 balls and a strike. Shuck takes a walk. He's on for the second time. Had a 347 on base average when this game started. Myers there on the bench. His club has given him a very sizable lead. And now Rogers, with his first walk, has to work from the stretch to Angel Sanchez. It's been a big part of the offense tonight with an RBI double, a walk, and 2 runs scored.
Back. Did you see what happened up in Dallas?
No.
You ever hear of the CC Carpet and Flooring Design of Dallas?
Nope.
Well, we're on the hook for about $500,000 because of a Josh Hamilton grand slam.
Ooh.
Back on September 14th.
Really?
It's a promotion they were doing, yeah. And there's some 200 customers will be getting refunds on flooring and countertops they purchased. And they had some kind of a grand slam promotion. Sure enough.
And it cost them $500,000
yeah.
because Hamilton hit a grand slam.
Yeah, to refund all the customers. You know, they probably had a deal. You come and buy, your countertops or your flooring by such and such a date. And if I don't know if it was Josh Hamilton or if the Rangers hit a grand slam on this date or whatever. I don't know the particulars of the competition.
Well,
but apparently they bought slam insurance.
Right. That's going to be the question. Okay. Oh, like hole-in-one insurance.
Yeah.
You don't go into a promotion like that without some backup. Rosario got over to his right very quickly to stop that one. It's 2 balls and a strike. He was really scrambling there.
Yeah, well, he had a lot of practice last night. Last night there were a lot of wide pitches and he was bouncing around. And at times seemed to be struggling, but nice work here. His quick feet to square up and keep that ball in front of him.
Mm-hmm. J.D. Martinez is on deck. Rockies swept the Astros in 3 games in Colorado. And the Astros would love to return that favor in this 4-game set. It may not be much of a favor, though. 3-1.
Situation here where you may be inclined to start a base runner, even though you have a 5-run lead. It's early enough in the game where you're not worried about running up the score or anything like that. Want to stay out of that double play. So you're looking for ball 4 or base hit from Sanchez. Nobody's going. Good thing he wasn't.
Yeah, very good thing. 3-2. Now he'll go. Or will he?
Well, I don't know. Because, again, you're fearful of the swing and miss.
And it just happened.
Yeah. Usually count on Sanchez to make contact.
Mm-hmm. He's going. Ball 4. Back-to-back walks, and J.D. Martinez will be up. 3 walks in the game for Rockies pitching. We talked about that when we looked at the numbers of Rogers. So Jim Tracy hoping that his right-hander can get his control together here. But Martinez 2 for 2 with an RBI double.
Yeah, he's in a bit of a bind here with struggling to hit his spots, and J.D. Martinez coming up has had 2 very good swings of the bat tonight, hitting the ball very hard both on his single and his double. That was off the lefty Pomeranz. This just in from Wild Card Central. Braves score 3 more, now lead Washington 6-1. Cardinals lead the Cubs 1-0. They're in the middle of the 4th in St. Louis.
Strike to Martinez.
Tim Hudson appears to be in command of that game against the Nationals. Chris Carpenter shutting out the Cubs.
Well, if Hudson can go deep into that game, and if the Braves win it, then after the off day yesterday, that gets some rest for those three hard-working relievers who come in quite often. Kimbrel, Venters, and O'Flaherty. 1 ball, 1 strike, and reading a story about them today that they feel that Craig Kimbrel is kind of like a right-handed Billy Wagner, and he has set a rookie save record this year. Venters is a ground ball machine. O'Flaherty's been able to get right-handers out with the injuries they've had to the right side of their bullpen, in addition to lefties. Fly ball to left. Young's coming in. He takes care of out number 1. Carlos Lee with a 2-run double in the first inning, then fouled out in the second. Major League Baseball Productions is here, taping interviews for the upcoming DVD on the Astros 50th anniversary, which will be coming out, we're told, about opening day next year. And they'll have interviews with all kinds of people and footage from throughout the club's history. Carlos fouls it back, strike 1. What did they ask you today? Anything surprising at all in your interview?
No, we talked about the '86 season a fair bit, and a little bit about some of the individuals on that club. Talked about the starting pitching. Talked about Glenn Davis and Billy Dorn, Kevin Bass.
Well, that was a fine team.
Pointed out that Kevin Bass did an outstanding Sammy Davis Jr. impersonation.
Do you think they'll get him to do that?
They had seen it. They said, "Oh yeah, we've seen that."
Okay. No balls, 2 strikes.
And we talked about the club since I moved into the broadcast booth, about Jeff and Craig and the playoff years.
Mm-hmm. It's a shot foul.
What'd you guys talk about?
We talked about those playoff years, just like you did, and Jeff and Craig, just like you did, and why the Astros didn't win those playoff series until '04.
Who'd you blame it on?
I blamed it on you.
I'll take that hit.
I said you were not broadcasting the playoff games. Liner over shortstop into left center field. Schuck will turn third and come on into the plate. Throw goes into second. RBI single El Caballo. Another big RBI game for him with 3. He has 93 runs batted in. 7 in the last 2 games. 7-1.
So if Brett Myers was hoping for a quick half inning so he could stay in rhythm, that's not going to happen, but that's okay as long as the team keeps scoring runs. And this one showing signs of a blowout here. Now really got a chance to turn into a real rout.
This could be the rout at Minute Maid, JD. There's still time to make that 50th anniversary DVD.
This could be. There's still time to come to the ballpark tonight. Folks might have to realize it. The roof is open for the first time since May. So if you're watching in your car,
hey,
and you're driving by, pull over and come on into the ballpark.
Don't we have fireworks after the game tonight?
We do.
Well, that would be a perfect reason to come. And is Kevin here tonight?
I don't believe so.
No, he's not here tonight. Kevin so misses fireworks when he's not here for those. Kevin probably did not realize that whatever that last Friday game he worked, that was his last fireworks of the year. Ground ball to third, throw to second. No, it goes into right field. Sanchez scores, and now everybody's circling. It's 8-1 on the misplay. Sanchez scoring the second run of the inning. And now runners at second and third with Chris Johnson coming up.
The Calliope crashed to the ground. Walk, single. Double play ball, error. 8-1, second and third. Let's see what happened here. Well, got on the heel of his glove, took him out of his rhythm a little bit, couldn't get the handle, hurried to throw. Got nothing.
So two-base error on Kuzminov, but Downs will get an RBI because the official score cannot presume a double play. So Downs has 2 more runs batted in. That gives him 39. Infield in for Johnson. And that one is a check swing call. He did not go. Dan Bellino with a call. There's ball 1. You remember a running back at Navy, Joe Bellino? Heisman Trophy winner.
Really?
JD.
I think I've heard that name before, Brownie, but I wouldn't have been able to identify him.
He was great.
Joe Bellino. When was he?
About 60 or so, maybe. Early 60s. Fantastic running back, Joe Bellino. 2 balls, no strikes.
No quitting those guys. Those Army Navy guys.
No. You know, Navy came down here for that bowl game at Reliance Stadium last winter and just thrashed Missouri. Very disciplined team. Took it right to them. Very well executed game.
They run the ball every play, don't they?
They did a lot. And they knew how to get holes open. 3 balls, no strikes. These service academies really do drill the discipline.
You're right, or you're marching in the quad.
Yep. You got a clear-cut choice. You do it their way or don't do it. That's ball 4. Johnson is on. The 3rd walk of the inning now, and Jim Tracy has to be getting a little restless here with this development.
Sending out his pitcher coach Bob Apodaca. Tell his young right-hander, hey, look, the manager's just going nuts in there. Let's bail us both out. I'm tired of the manager yelling at me to fix you.
Meanwhile, we know exactly where to go. Greg Lucas.
And if you want to watch the other sport sometime, this week on the FS Game of the Week, our guys will be in Norman, Oklahoma, where Bill Brown's Missouri Tigers will look to upset the #1 ranked Oklahoma Sooners in a showdown between Big 12 rivals. The FX College Football Game of the Week, presented by Russell Athletic, begins tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central. It'll be in high definition and only on FX.
27-21.
27-21. I'll write that down here.
Bold proclamation. What's the line in that game? What's the point spread?
No idea. Oklahoma's probably favored by about 2 touchdowns. Now Clint Barmes with the bases loaded and 1 out is 0 for 2 in this game. Quintero on deck. Fouls it back. There's strike 1 to Clint. Now Clint said he broke 3 bats in Chicago. Those Biggio bats. So now he's using his own black bat. And that's just a little bit quicker. If the pitcher throws harder, he'll use his bat. That's the way he's making his choice now.
That's the guys still do it, but it used to be fairly common for hitters to go down a little bit and wait later in the year to deal with a little more fatigue. Some guys would back off, not take as much batting practice, maybe go down half an ounce on the bat.
Strike, and it's 1-2. Back in the 50s and 60s, players like Nellie Fox, who was a small second baseman, used what they call bottle bats. Very, very thick handles. You just don't see those anymore in the major leagues. Lee, Downs, and Johnson, the runners. But it was hard to strike those guys out if they could whip that bottle bat through the zone. 2-2.
Yeah, they choke up and just punch the ball.
Yep. That was it. It's the opposite of home run hitting. Just don't let them get the ball by you. Big thick barrel and thick handle. And you just hope to make contact. Hit it somewhere. Nellie Fox was extremely adept at doing that. Barmes is down on strikes. 2 outs.
Fox, a lifetime .288 hitter. He had 35 home runs, 10,349 plate appearances.
Humberto Quintero single to right. He's 1 for 2. Well, he really helped Joe Morgan with the Colt 45s when Joe came up. Nelly was at the end of the line then. Was very helpful in working with Morgan at second base. Joe Morgan is a totally different type of offensive talent than Nellie Fox, but defensively, that's where they did a lot of good work. And Fox was an extremely good bunter.
12-time All-Star.
Won a batting title. He and Louis Aparicio were a tremendous double play combination for the Chicago White Sox in 1959.
He was the MVP that year.
Yes, he was. 1 ball and 1 strike.
I bet you could find a lot of evidence to prove that somebody else should have been the MVP.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to look at that.
Given all the statistical analysis we now have, runs created and things like that.
Would be. Would be fun to look at that.
For so many years, batting average was really overvalued. And I'm spewing all this. I saw Moneyball today, so this is all fresh on my mind.
And give us your review.
I give it 2.5 bases.
All right.
It's interesting. Some of the baseball, the inside baseball stuff, I thought was a little over dramatic and not very realistic.
Bouncer foul.
The best feature of the movie was the interplay between Brad Pitt, who played Billy Bean, and Jonah Hill, who played a fictional character, Peter Brand, I think the guy's name in the movie. So he's kind of a composite of all the, stats guys. He's a Yale graduate in the movie, economics major. So he was kind of the guy. He was Billy's right-hand man with the brains. But it was entertaining. Went a little too long.
That's because you had to get to work.
Funny, there were a lot of ladies in the audience. This Brad Pitt thing. Yeah, I was watching all these people in there. So these people aren't really interested in baseball statistics. They're interested in Brad Pitt.
Did you know that Brad Pitt attended the University of Missouri?
I did not.
Just found that out recently. He dipped snuff.
Yeah, he does that in the movie.
He did not graduate.
Was he a theater major?
Yeah, something along those lines. On hopper to short. Field takes care of it, and in the 4th inning, the Astros send 8 men to the plate. And they boost their lead with a couple more runs. They lead it 8-1 after 4.
Yeah, typically not a big strikeout guy. Things did not get off to a good start for him. An infield hit in advance of that RBI double by Derek Fowler. But since then, it's pretty much been an easy ride for Myers. 6 punch-outs, including 3 in a row. There in the 4th inning as he got 7, 8, 9. Rosario Field and the pitcher, Rogers. You see him making good use of both the curveball and the fastball. So for Myers, 4 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. Needs to finish his 5th inning to qualify for the win. I always thought it'd be a good practical joke in a situation like this, where a lopsided game after 4 to go up to a pitcher, if you were the manager, and say, okay, that's enough for tonight. We're gonna get Lyles in there and get him an inning.
Oh yeah, thanks a lot.
And then just turn your back and walk away and see how he responds.
Inning number 5 opens with the top of the lineup. Eric Young opened the game with an infield hit. It was a 1-hopper off the glove of Myers, deflected over to the shortstop Barmes, and Young reached on that infield hit. Then he came around to score on the Fowler double. In the 2nd inning, he struck out looking.
That 59 season we were talking about with Nellie Fox winning the MVP. Rocky Colavito that year hit 42 home runs, drove in 111. Killebrew hit 42, drove in 105. Mantle had an OPS of 904.
Oh boy, that's some pretty good stuff.
Wow.
1 and 2. But now, from the stories we've been reading about Moneyball, and you can confirm this now that you've seen it, Michael Lewis, who wrote the book, and the movie was made modeled on that book, we understand, says, well, now things have changed so much. You know, the analysis of baseball, you know, you can't, apparently in some general managers of other teams, I think even Brian Cashman of the Yankees said, well, you don't give away your secrets. You know, if you've got things and ways that you analyze the game that nobody else has, you don't let that out in the book, because everybody catches up with you in the industry.
Well, and I think that's what has happened in the A's, and Billy Beane got accused of trying to reinvent the game. And I mean, I read the book, and I've read a lot about it over the years, and I'm not sure that's what they were trying to do. I just think that they were trying to get an advantage that they felt like they had to take because they didn't have the money to spend.
Right.
So they had to be a little more risk averse in some of their decision making.
Okay. Myers takes care of out number 1.
So I guess to a certain extent they were trying to reinvent the game, but you know.
But maybe just make better use of the resources.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too is a lot of people think, well, they've heard about Billy Beane doing that, they've heard about the Red Sox doing it, and they make the assumption that there are certain clubs that use statistical analysis and other teams that don't, and that's why everybody uses it.
Sure.
It's just, you know, and it's just how much you emphasize it and what you really believe in versus some other clubs, and even Beane, and I think the A's will tell you that they were wrong a little bit in the way they thought about drafting players.
Okay. Fowler looks at ball 1.
You know, they went away from one of the big tenets there was not to draft high school kids. It was too risky because it was a longer curve for them to reach the big leagues. And just 2-3 years ago, they drafted that Cahill kid, a pitcher out of high school, in the 1st round. So, I mean, I think you learn some lessons and then you kind of blend it into your overall thing. But it was definitely tension in the movie between old school baseball and this new statistical way of looking at it. That was kind of the main thrust of it.
Sure. Curveball's grounded at first. Carlos Lee takes it. 2 outs.
Some of the scenes where all the scouts are sitting around the table with Beane are pretty funny. The way, you know, they're throwing every cliche out there. You know, about this guy's body. He's got a good body. He's got a good face. You know, all those old scouting lines. Remember the great Al Lamacchia telling me the story about when he was with the Braves and they drafted Chipper Jones over Todd Van Poppel. Jimmy, he had a bad face. Didn't like. Stayed away from Todd. He just didn't like his face.
And some people didn't like his agent either. Jordan Pacheco's 0 for 2. Foul back for strike 1. Well, Ed Wade has been quoted in some of these recent articles, spinning off the movie Moneyball, saying, you know, this game, the technology has progressed so quickly. We're not really that far away from scouts sitting in the stands with iPads filling out their scouting reports. Sanchez over to first. It's a 1-2-3 fifth, and that is 8 straight retired by Myers. 8-1 Houston. Out of that 50th anniversary cap pretty soon, as Brett Myers leads it off, home 5th inning. 9 hits for the Astros, 4 for the Rockies, each club with 1 error. Myers is 0 for 2. Bouncer up the middle and into center field for a Brett Myers single, his 10th hit of the year. He's aboard for J.B. Shuck, who's been on twice and scored twice. Well, Myers has tied Wandy Rodriguez on the pitching staff for the most hits with 10. That's 10 hits in this game for the Astros as well. Back-to-back games in double figures. They had 9 runs on 10 hits last night after being shut out Wednesday in Cincinnati by Bronson Arroyo. And we're talking about analyzing numbers in baseball. Foulback 101. Ran across a column today trying to analyze pitchers and the seasons they have had, and talking about drafting them for your fantasy leagues next year. Which guys are going to be a good value based on their wins and losses in ERA, but we really think they're better than this. Rolled into right field. Shuck is on for the 3rd time, getting Myers to second base. 2 singles and a walk for Shuck.
So they probably look at the walk rate, the strikeout rate, the home run rate.
Correct. And the batting average on balls in play. That's what they do.
And the left on base percentage too, I think is one measure. Sabermetricians to dig into.
Exactly. So for instance, Ryan Dempster, those numbers are not at all good for the Cubs. According to this one column today, he has not had all that bad a year. Not as bad as wins losses in ERA would tell you. Angel Sanchez has an RBI double, 2 walks. He scored 3 times. His ball went so Shuck, who would not normally be in the starting lineup with a lefty Pomerantz on the mound, has come through big. He's been on 3 times, and Sanchez, who was not in the starting lineup but then was added to it, has also come up big in the top 2 spots. It's 2-0.
JB's he's a money ball type player. Sees a lot of pitches, works walks, has a high on base percentage.
But got a question for you on that. Well, from what I remember reading, and I did not read Moneyball, but there have been stories written about it. They drafted a catcher from Auburn, Brown.
From Alabama, Jeremy Brown.
Fly ball deep to center field. Fowler back. Fowler with a long run. Wow. Tremendous catch by Dexter Fowler in center field. Terrific play on that warning track right in front of the bullpen fence. Fowler legged it right back to that spot, extended and held it.
Ruining a perfect night for Angel Sanchez, who had doubled and walked twice prior to that swing of the bat. And man, put a jolt into this one. Fowler fairly shallow, but got a great jump on it. Pretty play.
That is outstanding glove work. Now Jim Miller's warming up. Sanchez or Martinez is 2 for 3. And there's ball one. Sanchez absolutely robbed on that one.
Yeah, I was just reading a story on the Jeremy Brown kid. He was a catcher out of Alabama. Kind of a bad body. Had a big lower unit, but he was a good hitter. Drew a lot of walks. And so whereas traditional scouting said, this guy's got a bad body. He doesn't look like an athlete. The A's, to their way of thinking, he was an undervalued guy that they could get on the cheap.
Okay. Now, they were looking at numbers and they saw a lot of walks, right? Did they actually send a scout to see him, or do you know?
I'm assuming they did, but I do not know.
Okay. But it might not have mattered if they sent one or not, because he'd give them that report. Bad body.
Well, that was the line by Pitt, I think, or Pitt by Dean.
Okay.
In the book, he said that we're not selling jeans here. I'm not looking for Fabio. I'm looking for a ball player.
Okay. Maybe you should have looked for Fabio. Brown hasn't worked out too well.
Brown's back home now. I was just reading a story on him. And he had a pretty good minor league career. He did make it to the big leagues, but didn't stick. And there are those that believe that there was a lot of attention put on him because of Moneyball, and some apparently he's had some personal problems.
Oh, okay.
And they don't really go into it in the story I read, but for a lot of the attention he got because of Moneyball, there are those who claim that was his kind of undoing.
Okay. That's a liner into center field. Myers will get to third base, but he gets a stop sign there. The bases are loaded on a sharp single. Throw gets by, and now here comes Myers, but wait a minute, he goes back. Hold everything here.
We have seen some interesting baseball in the last 2 nights here at Minute Maid Park.
Yes, we have. Martinez just got his 3rd hit.
Alex Lee's going to end up with 100 home runs before this night is over. Here he comes to the plate again with the bases juiced. He's not going to get to face Rogers, though. Jim Tracy's going to make a pitching change. Myers took a 360 when he started to break to third base, and then he comes down the line about almost halfway before realizing that's probably not a good idea.
Fowler fired it, and it got by the catcher and the pitcher backing up. Myers saw an opening, but then he realized it wasn't really an opening. It's 8-1 Houston. Back in a moment.
2011, and it's J.R. Tolles against the Dodgers. This is a game-winning hit in the bottom of the ninth. The Astros win the game 2-1. That was number 6, a great moment for J.R. Tomorrow we will move to number 5. Browning?
Clint Barmes is the guy. Needs a hit to join this club of 8 starters with hits so far for the Astros. Clint 0 for 3. And he might be batting in this inning the way things are going. The Astros have accumulated 8 runs on 12 hits. They needed 8-1, and here's Carlos Lee with the bases loaded and 1 out. He's driven in 3 tonight. A 2-run double in the first, an RBI single in the fourth. Jim Miller's the pitcher. Pitcher number 3. Miller throws, and there's strike 1. Will Rogers leaving after 2 1/3 innings. Miller has no wins or losses. His ERA is 3.38. Last night he worked 1 inning, giving up 1 hit, 1 run, and he walked 2.
Get out of here.
It's out.
Miller spent the majority of the season with a AAA club in Colorado Springs. 8-5 with a 5.25 ERA, 65 appearances there. That big league time with the Orioles back in 08.
He went to Louisiana Monroe.
Carlos has hit a lot of grand slams in his career. He wanted that one.
Yes, he did.
Eyes got big.
No balls, 2 strikes. Carlos wants to be Greg Lucas's post-game guest again tonight. Greg interviewed him last night after he drove in 4.
Now down a couple of strikes. He'll widen the stance a little bit. Stay back a little longer. Be willing to just shoot a line drive the other way. And then if he hangs him a breaking ball, he'll hit it up on the train tracks, and everybody will clap.
He pokes it, and it's fair. First baseman Wigginton takes it as the run scores. And it's 9-1, and RBI number 4 of the night for Carlos Lee. Gives him 94. Last night he got his 500th Astro RBI at 552 with the White Sox. He's the 6th active player to have at least 500 runs batted in for 2 different teams. Made contact there with 2 strikes, got the run home to make it 9-1. Here's the post game last night with Greg and Carlos.
Yeah, you got to get behind the interferences being run, and then Brett Dolan blocked off the stairs. You got to do that sort of stuff sometimes.
Aggressive reporting. You and Dolan. Would you have knocked him down to get the interview if you had to?
He seemed to think I would, but he only outweighs me by.
Just to get a giant butterfly net.
He's a playful guy.
Actually, he is.
Yeah.
Lance used to run away.
Well, he's not going to be able to run away the way he's having a year this year.
No, he'd come off the field, he'd see me there, and he'd decide he was going to run away, and then I'd have to catch him. It's both playful.
It was a good game.
It was a game.
Downs has driven in 3. No balls, 2 strikes. Fouls that one back. Yeah, Matt had been told that he is the top right-handed pinch hitter from one season in Astros history in terms of runs batted in, so he's aware of that. He didn't know who the top left-handed pinch hitter was.
Orlando Merced, who finished second in the Rookie of the Year voting to Jeff Bagwell in '91.
That's right. But Rex Jones, the assistant athletic trainer, said Orlando Merced was very funny in the clubhouse. One ball, 2 strikes. So, no matter what you do in this game, there's Matt Downs trying to get to a club record. He might never measure up to Orlando Merced in the clubhouse, even if he drives in more runs.
He's going to have to work on his material.
Foul back. Still a ball and 2 strikes.
You have to tell Millsy to stop playing him.
Yeah.
Stop putting me out there in the starting lineup. Let me pinch hit and go for the record.
Well, he's going to wind up, if he keeps doing this, not being able to pinch hit very much anymore. But he might be moving all over the field next year. Might be kind of a super sub type guy. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bottom of the 5th in St. Louis, 1-0 Cardinals over the Cubs. Ryan Dempster's pitching tonight for Chicago and pitching well against Chris Carpenter. Brad Mills is having chats with his players here in September, talking about next year, what they can do to improve, where their chances are to play, make the club, be in the starting lineup, things of that nature. He says, I like to have them ask me. Try to find out what's on their mind, give them some kind of an answer. 3-2, 2 on, 2 outs.
I think it's fairly common practice in the game today to have exit interviews of a sort with every player in the organization, the manager and maybe the minor league director down to the farm clubs. To sit each player down individually in the office. Here's what we like. Here's what we don't like. Here's what we think you need to do to get better.
Yeah.
Here's what we foresee for you next year.
That's a good practice. I had one of those one time. It wasn't that kind of an
accident. Didn't work out so good?
No. Give us your keys. Still 3-2. There are different types of exit interviews.
Yeah, I had one. Actually, I got released by the Phillies.
Yeah.
And by the assistant general manager, Ed Wade.
Really?
Right? Jimmy Fregosi was the manager.
Okay.
Called him into the office. We've got some paperwork for you to sign.
Thanks a lot.
Short and sweet.
So it's that business-like, huh?
Well, I think it just depends. I mean, I'd only been there a brief time. I've been just at the end of my career. I'd spent most of the year down in AAA and got called up. Fregosi really didn't want me there. It was kind of an awkward situation. Made a couple starts, didn't pitch good, so it was time to move on. You know, when you're bad, like I was, a lot of guys are bad at the end of the career. That's why your career ends, for the most part. So it's both sad and a relief at the same time.
Yeah. At strike 3, Downs thought maybe ball 4, but he looked back. Tony Randazzo had made the call to win the inning. It's 1 run, 3 hits, 2 men left for the Astros. They lead it 9-1. For the Astros, there's Angel Sanchez with an RBI double to left field. Stop the swing of Carlos Lee. 2-run double to left center. Freeze that one by Matt Downs. RBI double left center. And Chris Johnson also drove in a run in that 5-run first. 6 consecutive hits out of the gate to set a club record. Now it's the 6th inning for Colorado, and there is strike 1 for Brett Myers. Josh Renicky warming up in the bullpen for the Rockies. Seth Smith is in the box. He has struck out and he's walked. Sanchez to his left. On over to Carlos Lee. 1 out. That's 9 straight retired by Myers, who's thrown 82 pitches. Ty Wigginton is 0 for 2. Cubs have tied the Cardinals 1-1 in the middle of the 6th inning now.
That's also the score of the ball game in Milwaukee as the Brewers close in on clinching the Central. It's 1-1 between the Brewers and the Marlins. Yovani Gallardo going for Milwaukee tonight.
Hey, you know, we were talking about Manny Ramirez playing winter ball last night. As it turns out, that story was wrong. You suspected what is actually the story. Major League Baseball does control winter ball, according to a story today. So Manny would not be allowed to play.
I was surprised to hear that.
Well, you were rightly surprised because it was a bogus story. And he can't play winter ball in the Dominican until he serves that suspension. Out to center field. Shuck is backing on it. 2 down. That's 10 straight retired by Myers.
So MLB must provide a lot of funding for the winter leagues.
That's a good question.
That would explain why they would have that kind of control.
Good question. Not sure about that. Pretty decent assumption, though.
Yeah.
They were backing the Puerto Rican League, I believe, a few years ago when it fell apart and they missed a season. Then I think Major League Baseball funded the next year. Diving play. Chris Johnson to his right. Sparkling effort by CJ. That is superb glove work at third base. And that's 11 straight retired by Myers and friends. The Astros up 9-1.
Treating you like family. By AT&T, rethink possible. And by Jack in the Box. For a limited time, Jack's really big chicken sandwich combo is back for only $3.99 plus tax at participating restaurants. Greg Biggio making the turn to Bagwell and Statuary Park out behind the ballpark.
And meanwhile, what a play by Chris Johnson. He'll lead it off here after this gem.
Yeah, this is Brooks Robinson-like. And up in a good strong throw to finish it off. He's had some nice games lately.
He really has. That is superb. He leads it off here in the home 6th inning. New pitcher in, Josh Renicky. Miller went 2/3 of an inning. He allowed no hits, no runs with a strikeout. Renicky throws the slider for strike one. Johnson singled in run number 5 in the Astros' 5-run first, but their 6th consecutive hit to open the game for a club record. Bounces this one to third. Kuzminoff, 1 out. Clint Barmes is the only Astros starter not to reach the hit column tonight. Renicky has no decisions in 18 games. His ERA is 3.45.
Originally drafted by the Reds in the 10th round of the 06 draft out of UCLA, where he also played football. He was a defensive back and a punt returner.
Josh, 29 years old. He worked last night. That's ball 1 to Barmes.
Some big league time with the Reds and then Toronto before this stop in Colorado this year.
Announcement just being made by Gene Diaz that Carlos Lee, with back-to-back 4 RBI games, is the 9th player in Astros franchise history to do that. Lance Berkman the last to do it. 1-2 to Barmes. So Carlos picking up 8 runs batted in this series, off to a nice start here in the final few games of the season. He has a clear shot at 100 for the year now. 94 runs batted in for El Caballo. Two and two. Esmil Rogers in 2 1/3 innings allowed 5 hits, 3 runs, walking 3, fanning 1. Last night, Renicky gave up 3 runs in 2/3 of an inning. Barmes to left field. Let's see if he joins in the hit parade. Not only does he join in the hit parade, he hits one out. Home run number 12. Now every Astro has a hit in this game, and it's 10-1. Barmes has driven in 39.
Lee, Barmes, Myers all doing very well tonight, and all really having turned things on here in the second half of the season. Trying to go down and away, and he threw it over the middle, up and in a little bit. Guess it's good to get that negative feedback when you miss, and he got a lot of negative feedback with that swing of the bat.
Humberto Quintero's 1 for 3. Ball 1 in tight to him. Brett Wallace is on deck. So Myers is finished for the night, it would appear, with bullpen action going for the Astros.
Myers will have one more start on the final day of the season. He now has a run of 5 consecutive starts in which he has allowed just 1 earned run.
Front row of the Crawford boxes. Lance Pendleton's warming up for the Astros.
That's when he wanted to throw Barmes.
Yeah, good pitch. Tampa Bay has lost at home to Toronto, 5-1 the final. With the rain out for the Red Sox, they pick up ground. So Tampa Bay has fallen 2.5 games behind Boston. 3 in the loss column for the Red Sox. That ought to make Red Sox Nation a little bit more at ease. Hold out the shortstop, charge, and field with the play. In time, 2 outs. Brandon Morrow won that game for Toronto, beating David Price.
Quite get the grip initially, then able to reset and still get Q. Nice play by the former Bobcat.
Pinch hitter Brett Wallace is batting for Brett Myers. Myers in 6 innings allowed 4 hits, 1 run. He walked 1 and fanned 6. Wallace is trying to snap an 0 for 27, a .260 hitter with 4 homers, 26 runs batted in. Looking at ball 1. Brett will leave shortly after the season ends here for winter ball. Said he hopes to get in about 150 at bats. He really wants a lot of work this winter. It's 2 balls, no strikes. Myers retired the final 11 men he faced. So he's only given up 4 earned runs in his last 29 1/3 innings. And he could be a 4-game winning streak guy headed into his last start. 3 balls, no strikes. He's won 3 straight. He's in a very good position to win this one with a 10-1 lead. Wallace looks at the strike. 3-1. Kelly Johnson hit his 21st home run tonight for the Blue Jays in their 5-1 win over Tampa Bay. 3-2 now with Shuck on deck.
Wallace, since coming back up from the minor leagues, has not had much of a chance to play. He's had 1 start and a handful of pinch hit at bats.
0 for 10 in September. Bangs out a line drive, but Fowler's right there to catch it. In the 6th inning, Clint Barmes becomes the 9th Astros starter to get a hit. It's a long hit. A home run for Barmes, number 12 of the year. Extends the Astros lead to 10-1 through 6.
For Fan Appreciation Day, as a thank you for your continued support, a great prize will be given away every half inning to lucky fans in attendance. Prizes include gifts from Academy Sports and Outdoors, Chevrolet, Citgo, Gallery Furniture, Hilton, Kielbasa, Whataburger, and more. Visit Astros.com for tickets. And again, a reminder, this is Sunday, not the final game of the season. The final game this year is on a Wednesday. Fan Appreciation Day is Sunday. Brownie?
Thank you. There's that new logo, the 50th anniversary logo. And Lance Pendleton takes over. Certainly he's hoping to be a big part of that 50th anniversary celebration season next year. Fan Appreciation coming up on Sunday. Greg Reynolds warming up for Colorado. Meanwhile, it's Pendleton, the 25-year-old native of Houston. Lives in Kingwood. He was All-State as a senior there. And an outfielder. But at Rice University, he was a fine pitcher. And he was taken in the Rule 5 draft by the Astros and then returned to the Yankees and back to Houston. Matt Lindstrom warming up now for Colorado. We go to the 7th inning. Strike 1 to Rosario, who's 0 for 2. Pendleton has only pitched once since he joined the Astros. Gave up 2 runs in 2/3 of an inning at Washington, and that was back on September 11th, so it's been a while since he's been on the mound. He hit 2 batters in that game.
Day after his 28th birthday. So it's go time for him.
Yeah.
Big opportunity now as he comes to this Astros team. The land of opportunity with what's gone on here this year, and a lot of potential openings on the pitching staff next year.
It's 2-2.
Saw his major league numbers this year: 12 appearances, 11 with the Yankees, 1 with the Astros. At AAA Scranton for the Yankees, he made 10 starts, 8 relief appearances, was 3-4 with a .310 earned run average.
Braves lead 6-4 at Washington. They're batting in the top of the 9th inning. Jason Worth at his 20th for the Nats. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Now the Braves have scored again with a run in the 9th to lead at 7-4. Still batting. Pendleton gets a swing and a foul tip for a strikeout of Rosario. 12 straight Rockies sent down by Astros pitchers.
Rosario's just hoping to get something middle in that he can hit out of the ballpark. It's a home run swing, despite the fact he's got 2 strikes. He's just like, 10-1 game. I'm just going to swing big and hope to run into one.
Chris Nelson's on deck. Tommy Field fouls at strike 1. Field is 1 for 2.
Pendleton 35-26 in his minor league career. 6 seasons in the Yankee organization with a very respectable .336 earned run average. Slowly, steadily moving his way up the chain. Had Tommy John surgery early on in his career.
0-2.
Most people that follow the game know that Tommy John was a pitcher. There will come a time when they don't. They just think it's a surgery. Like Arnold Palmer will become a drink.
With a catch, 2 outs.
Shirley Temple. All these great people have done wonderful things.
Chris Nelson's a pinch hitter now. Batting for the pitcher, Renicky. Renicky in 1 inning allowed 1 hit, 1 run with no walks, no strikeouts. Nelson, a .247 hitter with 3 homers, has driven in 14. Nelson's had 174 at bats. As a pinch hitter, he's 3 for 10, driving in 3.
A lot of people up on the roof across the way, Union Station.
Yeah, getting set for fireworks. No balls, 2 strikes. Nelson was a September recall coming up on September 9th. They'll have a great view from there. 1-2. Nelson at Colorado Springs hit .329. He drove in 65 runs in 73 games. That is a very good offensive ballpark. Foul, and it's 1-2. Cincinnati and Pittsburgh are tied 3-3. They're now in the bottom of the 9th at Pittsburgh. Edinson Volquez started for the Reds. He went 5, gave up 3 runs. Foul back, and it's still a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Pendleton was drafted by the Yankees in the 4th round the year the Astros went to the World Series in 2005. It's 2-2.
Tony Randazzo's had a pretty wide strike zone tonight, but I wouldn't call that one for Pendleton. It was off the plate.
Lance is looking forward to spending time right here in Houston this winter. That one will stay fair, and that's a home run. Nelson with a pinch homer gets the Rockies on the board for the first time since the 1st inning. 13 straight Rockies had been set down by Myers and Pendleton, but now Nelson goes deep. 10-2. 4th pinch homer this year for the Rockies.
It's a breaking ball. And it's over the middle, down, but over the middle of the plate. See where Major League Baseball has asked a judge to order the sale of the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Saw that.
Arguing that Frank McCourt is running the team, driving the team to destruction.
Okay. Ball 1 to Eric Young. Young is 1 for 3. Well, the sense we got when we had the 2 trips to Los Angeles this year is one of complete embarrassment on the part of the Dodger fans, and there were so many no-shows from what we were hearing. People just did not want to use their tickets and support that owner, so they chose to stay home. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, it's getting pretty ugly out there. Some of the letters in the newspaper.
True. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Cardinals are batting in the bottom of the 7th inning. Tied with the Cubs 1-1. Jeff Samardzija is in the game for Chicago. Swing and a miss by Young. And in the 7th inning, the pinch homer by Nelson, his 4th home run of the year, gives Colorado its 2nd run. It's 10-2 Houston. We haven't seen the roof open for months. I think Greg Lucas said May 15th or some such date. It's been a long time, Greg.
That's it. That was it. It was the last time it was against the Mets on May 15th, and then since then we've been indoors. But you know what? I like it because it's the first time I've been outdoors and I haven't been rained on for weeks.
Well, you got very wet on that last road trip.
Wasn't fun.
No. Now former Astro Matt Lindstrom comes into pitch. He's 2-2 with an ERA of 3 in 51 innings. And he faces J.B. Schock, who hits one toward right center field and hits it well. Smith over, and that's extra bases for J.B. Schock. Looks like a triple the way he's running. He's legging it into third base. Relay throw, not in time. And the pitcher backing up, wound up with it. Lindstrom on a triple by Schock, his first major league triple.
Wow, what a night he is having.
4th time he's been on base.
3 hits, scored twice. It's a little bit more of that one, and maybe his first major league home run. Looking for that first pitch fastball from Lindstrom, and he jumped all over it. Lindstrom a little late to get over there to back up, but was able to save the run for the time being. Nice swing of the bat for JB. The Buckeye.
He ran hard the whole way. A foul ball by Angel Sanchez for strike one. Now the Astros have hit for the cycle in this game as a team. They have 14 hits. Sanchez got the first run home with a double in the first inning. He's walked twice and scored 3 times tonight. Could have been on a 4th time, but for a catch by Fowler. Tremendous catch in right center field on the warning track on the dead run. 1 ball, 1 strike. $22,467 the paid attendance on this Friday night, with fireworks coming after the game. Up the middle, and Shuck comes home. The throw from field takes care of out number 1, and it's 11-2. Sanchez getting his second RBI of the game, 27th of the year. Nicely done as he hit the ball up the middle with a runner on third. J.D. Martinez has 3 hits, as does Shuck. They are the 2 hit leaders with 3 for this game tonight. Martinez has 2 singles and a double. He's driven in a run. Slider works for strike 1 for Lindstrom. Juan Abreu's warming up for Houston. Carlos Lee's on deck. Strike makes it 0-2. Atlanta beat Washington 7-4. The Braves got their 89th win. They began the day with a 2-game lead in the wild card race over the Cardinals. Their magic number to clinch the wild card now drops to 4. Popped up foul. Wigginton comes in. Watch out, Rosario. When Ty wants it, he'll run you over. 2 outs.
Braves, after this series with the Nationals, finish with the Phillies at home, I believe.
Sounds right.
And the Cardinals, of course, are here for 3 Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Yep. It's going to be kind of interesting, in fact, with the Phillies and Braves. Phillies having clinched the best record already. And then the Yankees and Red Sox this weekend, and the Yankees have clinched. Carlos Lee with 4 runs batted in this game, and there's strike 1. Carlos pops it up. Wigginton comes over for this one. And in the 7th inning, the Astros get a run on 1 hit. They take their 11-2 lead to the 8th.
Go to the 8th. You know, you can visit the official online shop of the Astros at Astros.com anytime. You can browse the largest online selection of authentic team gear, including official caps, t-shirts, jerseys, collectibles, and more. You can get your team gear straight to the source, shopping the Astros.com/shop. Some of those people have perhaps done it. They've got their gear. Out to the booth, here's Brownie and JD.
They got it somewhere. And folks got their Astros 50th anniversary caps with that logo tonight. Fireworks after the game. Juan Abreu comes in to pitch the 8th inning. The Astros up 11-2. He has an ERA of 2.45 for his first 4 Houston Major League appearances.
Juan, an intriguing guy. He's not had a lot of work, but he's got a very good right arm dangling off that shoulder there. Came over in the Michael Bourne deal from the Braves. An extreme hard thrower. Note the 8 strikeouts in a little over 3 innings. Big strikeout numbers in the minor leagues this year for the Braves.
Strike 1 to Dexter Fowler, who had the RBI double in the first. So now can he translate that to Major League success? That's the opportunity Juan Abreu has. Rounds that one foul.
The Astros will get a little look at him here and a more extended look at him in spring training. That was the goal of these trades, to try to bring in some high ceiling players, some minor league guys, position players like Singleton with a lot of pop in the bat, and then pitchers with really good stuff.
You could look at that high ceiling thing a couple of ways. Almost got him.
Did get him.
Yeah, it did. Hit by the pitch. Fowler is on. Some of these guys are 6'5", aren't they? They would require a high ceiling.
It was interesting because I'm not sure that Randazzo was going to call this until Fowler started on his way. So basically Randazzo said, okay, he must have got you.
Must have. 11-2 lead for the Astros. Fowler's on for Jordan Pacheco. Pacheco's 0 for 3. Tim Hudson went 5 2/3 tonight for Atlanta. Looping fly ball hit to center field in front of Shuck. Pacheco's aboard, and it's first and second, nobody out for Seth Smith.
Meanwhile, the Cubs have dropped a 3 spot on the Cardinals in the top of the 8th to take a 4-1 lead in St. Louis. Soriano went deep for the 25th time.
With Atlanta winning 7-4 at Washington, Hudson went to 16-10, beating Steven Strasburg 0-1. Craig Kimbrell got his 46th save. So once again, it was the daily trio of O'Flaherty, Venters, and Kimbrell all pitching in that game. Strike 1 to Smith. Venters has 83 appearances to lead the National League. Kimbrell is tied for second with 78. O'Flaherty has 76. Kimbrell has 46 saves. Venters 34 holds. O'Flaherty 31 holds. Edmar Escalona warming up in the bullpen for the Rockies. It's 1-1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Atlanta media has come up with the name combining all 3 of those guys, O'Flaherty, Venters, and Kimbrell. I can't remember exactly what it is right now, but there's a name with at least 1 syllable from each of those 3 guys.
Well, the Nasty Boys was taken a long time ago,
That's
so I couldn't go with that.
No. David Carpenter's warming up for Houston. That is a ton of appearances, though, for those 3. And
when you're winning, you've got a lot of leads to protect. When things get tight, you tend to lean on the guys who've done the job for you.
Sure. Kimbrell had a scoreless inning streak of 37 2/3 earlier this month, but before tonight, his September ERA was 4.66. So naturally, there are stories that these guys have been overused.
They're only overused if they don't win.
Yeah. Smith strikes out. Out number 1.
I mean, they may be tired, but you got all winter to rest. You got to suck it up and go get it.
Yeah.
If you're hurt, shut her down.
Right. Abreu got that K. Now it's Wigginton batting. Tie 0 for 3. Cleveland beat Minnesota 6-5. That's strike 1. Dodgers 1, San Diego nothing. They're in the bottom of the 3rd at Petco Park with Ted Lilly on the mound for Los Angeles.
Again, it was the Cardinal bullpen that let them down tonight. Kyle McClellan, in relief of Chris Carpenter, allowed 3 in the 8th inning, including that home run by Soriano.
Uh-oh.
Carpenter pitched very well tonight. Just 1 run allowed by Carpenter in 7 innings.
Fouled away. 1-2. $14 hits for the Astros, 6 for the Rockies. We're in the 8th inning. The Astros set a club record by getting 6 consecutive hits in their first at bat.
You could say they set the tone early on.
They sure did. Popped up foul, and that will be in the seats. Still 1-2. Texas 5, Seattle 3. They've played 8 in Texas. Josh Hamilton hit his 25th home run. Adrian Beltre, number 29. Rangers are trying for win number 91 of the year. 2-2 for Juan Abreu. San Francisco just got a 5th inning run, leading Arizona 1-0. Orlando Cabrera provided it with his 5th home run.
Giants trying to stave off elimination. Just a matter of time. They trail the Diamondbacks by 6. There were 4 back in the wild card coming into play tonight, so they have a faint heartbeat.
Matt Cain's on the mound for them against Joe Saunders. Grounded into left field. Fowler is given the stop at 3rd by Rich Dower, and the bases are loaded on the hit by Wigginton. He's 1 for 4 now. Kuzmanov comes up.
He's always had that quick bat, get around on a fastball.
Doug Brocale comes out. Doug is talking with his family about the Astros offer for him to return as pitching coach next year. Brad Mills hoping that he does take that job offer. All the other coaches are back for next year. Oakland got a run in the 1st, and after 3 it's Oakland 1, the Angels nothing. Jamal Weeks hit his 2nd home run. The Tigers got their 91st win with a run in the 11th, knocking off Baltimore 4-3. Red Sox are 4-14 since they had a 9-game lead in the wild card in the American League. Rained out tonight. But the Red Sox are tied for the major league lead in runs scored in September. They scored 122. Fowler, Pacheco, and Wigginton are the base runners.
Pitching's a mess over there in Boston.
It really is. Terrible mess, in fact. They're trying to get Clay Buchholz back here for the final few days of the season from a back injury. 0-2. John Lackey has the highest ERA any Red Sox pitcher's ever had for a full season of work. Josh Beckett Had the lead the other night, couldn't hold it. John Lester's had hard times. Foul back. So, and then they're also trying to get a couple of other position players back. I think Kevin Youkilis and J.D. Drew trying to return to the lineup this weekend as well. And Carl Crawford has had a very rough year.
See Brian Cashman's comments today regarding Carl Crawford?
No. Struck him out looking.
He said that he went out to dinner this offseason with Crawford's agent, although he had no interest in him, just to drive up the price to make him more expensive for the Red Sox.
Wow. Interesting. Well, that's competition in the AL East. Not that surprising, really. Willeen Rosario is 0 for 3. Why not?
Surprisingly, he would say that.
It is. Yeah. Boy, he's been on the job a long time for a Yankee general manager, hasn't he?
He really has. I mean, you think about the reign of George there, when every other year he was firing a GM or a manager. Sometimes 2 or 3 times in a year.
No balls, 2 strikes. Pittsburgh got a run in the ninth, beat Cincinnati 4-3. Hanrahan with a win. Rosario strikes out, and Abreu got out of bases loaded trouble. Struck out the side. No runs, 2 hits, 3 men left. 11-2 Houston. They have done so much hitting. This one is the singular swing to reach the seats. That's number 12 of the year for Clint against his former club. Second long ball against the Rockies for Clint this year. And the Astros lead it, and now everybody's in the hit column. That was his first hit of the night in the 6th inning. Coors Light cold hard blast. For Clint Barmes, now Edmer Escalona takes over on the mound. Barmes provided the 6th inning run, then the Astros got a run in the 7th. Escalona has a 1.90 ERA in 12 games.
Saw him last night. Old Edmer, 23 2/3 innings. He has struck out 13, walked 6, allowed 3 home runs. The Astros 20 runs on the board in the first 2 games of this series against the Rockies, after being absolutely shut down by Bronson Arroyo the other day in Cincinnati. Kind of ironic.
Go figure.
Arroyo's having a tough year.
Jordan Lyles is working in the Houston bullpen. Escalona is 24 from Venezuela. Had a hitless inning last night. He delivers to Matt Downs, and it's ball 1 to Matt. Matt has driven in 2 tonight. He's 1 for 4. Milwaukee got a step closer to clinching. NL Central beating Florida 4-1. Francisco Rodriguez with that win. He's 6-2, beating Clay Hensley, who's 6-7. There's Lyles in the bullpen. John Axford got his 44th save. Prince Fielder hit his 35th homer. Ryan Braun his 32nd. What a pair of slugging teammates they've been.
Outstanding start from Gallardo, but a no decision.
Yeah. No walks, 11 strikeouts.
Zach Greinke now just 9 strikeouts shy of 200. If he gets there, he'll be one of just a small number of guys to punch out 200 in a season in each league.
Okay. 2-2. Matt Lindstrom in 1 inning allowed 1 hit, 1 run with no walks, no strikeouts. Foul back by Downs. 2-2.
Rockies pitching in search of their first 1-2-3 inning tonight. Astros have scored runs in every inning except for the third. Great example of putting a big fat crooked number on the board and then just playing add-on, continuing to build.
They have not rested on their first inning laurels.
They have not.
That club record. You know, there was something special in the air tonight when we got to the ballpark. Greg Lucas probably felt it.
That was the air because the roof was open.
Oh, that was it.
The air was something special in the air.
It was the JD anniversary air, Greg.
That's right. Everyone was pumped because they knew that big moment was going to be remembered.
I've never had my air so highly spoken of before. Spoken of.
3-2. Who would have known that 25 years to the day after JD struck out the first 8, the Astros would set another club record with 6 consecutive hits to open a game right after the roof was open.
Ryan McTaggart has a big interview with JD that's online. You can read it now.
Oh, good. Is it funny?
Well, of course it has to be if JD's in it.
That's right. Popped up. Wigginton over. Watch out, umpire. Now he circles the umpire. And it's out, number 1.
And Tags gave me a ticket. He was at that game. He gave me a ticket stub.
That's right.
He brought to the ballpark tonight.
And he'd been keeping that ticket stub for 25 years.
He's got a whole bunch of them. He was at that game. He was at the next game, today's game, the Nolan game. But he didn't get to go to the clincher because he had school. It was a day game. He had to go to school. The Thursday afternoon game when Mike threw the no-hitter to beat the Giants.
Oh, no.
Now he's in this business, though. He has no ticket stubs.
That's true. Chris Johnson was strike 1. You know who else was at that game? Who's in the media right now? You may not know this, JD. Matt Thomas.
He was telling me that.
Okay, okay. You do know it. Matt was eating at a restaurant near the Dome when you were striking out those first 8 guys.
Oh, he didn't make it to the game on time.
Well, I think he came later. I think that's what he said. No balls, 2 strikes. Paul Bykowski was there. And he was probably working that game. He was in the stands watching it. I imagine Murphy Brown was working that game. Ground ball to third. Ooh, Kuzmanov. It stuck in his glove and he got him. 2 outs. Looked kind of unusual.
A little bit of an in-between hop there, but he was in pretty good position to handle it.
Clint Barmes homered in the 6th inning, 1 for 4. And JD, you were telling me when you were pitching that game, you were unaware of the record of how many strikeouts to open a game, and you kind of walking around. You heard this buzz in the stands, right?
They flashed it up on the scoreboard after the 7th one that I had tied the modern record. Ironically, said earlier that year, I believe, by Joe Cowley in his no-hitter. And so that's when I knew that, oh, this is kind of fun.
And then you looked up there and saw that. Foul back by Barmes.
Yes, and then I gritted my teeth and squeezed the ball very hard. Said I must get number 8.
And there it was, right there. Who was this striking out there?
That I believe was Jose Gonzalez.
Oh yeah. That's the voice of Bill Worrell. Popped up and Escalona's underneath it. Making the grab to end the 8th inning. We move to the 9th and it's 11-2 Astros. And now they make changes, preparing for the top of the 9th inning. And we'll show you what they are. J.B. Shuck has moved from center field to right field, with Matt Downs coming out. Jason Bourgeois is the center fielder. He's been out with a wrist problem the last few days. And Jordan Lyles is on the mound. After Juan Abreu worked the 8th in 1 inning, he allowed 2 hits, no runs, with no walks, 3 strikeouts, and a hit batter.
He keeps that strikeout rate going, does Abreu. He's also hit, 4 batters now in limited work. Clipped Fowler on the foot there to lead off the 8th. But he got out of that inning unscathed, left the bases loaded. Now Jordan Lyles comes on. He, too, with very limited work here in September since coming back to the big leagues after his brief little stop down in AAA when they decided innings had gotten to a point where they wanted to shut him down, take the ball out of his hand as a starting pitcher.
Tommy Field just took ball 1. He's 1 for 3. It's 2 balls, no strikes. Lyles, pitcher number 4. Brett Myers is in line for win number 7 of the year. And it would be his 4th in a row, his 94th of his major league career. 2 balls and a strike. Lyles Monday in Cincinnati had a very brief appearance with a 3-2 lead in the 8th inning. And Edgar Renteria reached on an error, and that was the only batter he faced. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Chris Iannetta comes out to the on-deck circle. That's top foul, and it's still a 2-ball, 2-strike count on Tommy Field, former Bobcat. Bruce Chen won his 12th for Kansas City, 11-1 over the White Sox. 3 balls, 2 strikes. His performance has been a major surprise to many this year. He's 12-8 with a 3.98 ERA. Paul Konerko hit his 31st homer. Still 3-2 to Tommy Field. Jordan Lyles has been the youngest player at times in the majors this year, age 20. He gets a strikeout. 1 out.
Francoeur, Escobar, Hosmer, Perez all going deep in that Royals win over the White Sox. Good heater, throw him right by Field. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 punch outs? Is that right?
Punch outs, yeah. You got it. Iannetta's a pinch hitter now. 236 for Chris, 13 homers. Batting for Escalona. And that one felled the catcher, Quintero, on strike 1.
Oh, Q, the night was almost over. Just 2 outs away, and you take that shot.
Mm-hmm. That's a shot, too. Home plate umpire Tony Randazzo grabbed him. Came close to toppling over. Broken bat. It goes to third. Chris Johnson zips it over to first. 2 outs. And Lyles got some severe snappage on that bat.
Got the punch out. Now he's got the broken bat. Now he just needs a foul pop up to the catcher. That'd be a good trifecta.
Oh, yeah. Eric Young Jr. led off the game with an infield hit. He came around to score on a Fowler double. Very quickly it was 1-0 Rockies after 2 batters. He is 1 for 4. Fouling for strike 1. How that game turned in a hurry.
Well, the Rockies' best chance to get back in it came into the 3rd inning. They had a 1-out error on CJ and then a walk to Seth Smith. Ty Wigginton was up there with a couple men aboard, and They don't have a lot of power in their lineup tonight. Most of their mainstays not in there. But if Wiggy were to touch one up there, it might have been a different ball game. But that was the beginning of a stretch where Myers just shut everybody down. Retired 11 in a row.
1-2. Cardinals are batting in the bottom of the ninth, trailing the Cubs 5-1. 2 outs and a runner at second. Lyles ends the evening with a strikeout, looking on Young. Big strikeout night for Astros pitchers with 13. And their hitters gave those pitchers working room early. That one hit the corner to end this ball game, and the Astros now have won the first 2 of this series. Lyles gets the 3 outs in the ninth inning to put the lid on Myers' 7th win of the year. It's 11-2, Houston over Colorado tonight.